Hi, welcome back to my craft room for a Focus Friday where we'll be using the bundle Arrange a Wreath. Comes with both a stamp set and die set. We'll be using several texture folders today, as well as several different inks: Petal Pink, Calypso Coral, Mossy Meadow, Pear Pizzazz, and Blackberry Bliss, as well as Petal Pink blend. I've already cut out some of the wreaths. Now, one of the shapes is more like a leaf, and one is, I'm going to call it a flower. First, do my texture folder, then I've got the wreaths. This paper is shimmer paper. It has a slight shimmer to it and adds so much to your project. This paper is Pear Pizzazz. Now we're going to watercolor a scrap that we will be die cutting some flowers. So I'm just using a scrap and my watercolor brush. I'm going to clean it out real good, make sure there's no ink left in the brush. Then I'm going to stamp two different colors on one stamp, and then I'm using my spritzer. This gives a really neat technique, so you can see where I have made Sharpie marks on my stamp, so I can know where I've stamped one color, turn it over, and stamp the other color. Then I spritz it. It gives a fun texture, a fun two-toned stamp. So I need 6 of these, this size flower, and I'll be cutting out 6 of the small flowers from the other scrap. Then I've got them die cut. Then we are going to emboss with white the sentiment onto black paper, and I die cut this with the stitched nested dies. Then I'll heat emboss it. There we go. Now, my first sample that I made of these, I layered them a little different. That's one thing that's so nice about these wreaths, is that you can have such a variety of different looks by layering different colors, and you'll get different effects by the different ways you layer them. The first sample I did, I put the leaves in between the flowers, and you'll see when I'm done, and you can decide which way you like to do it best. I'm going to start layering the flowers. Again, there's 6 of the larger flowers and 6 of the smaller flowers. I'm going to take this extra piece of leaves and just cut them in half and just place them over the top. To give more green on the top of my wreath. I'm just going to put glue on the top and on the bottom so that when I adhere it to my sentiment, that the glue is not all on the sides. It's just at the top and the bottom. And then I'm going to use dimensionals to adhere them to my card front. And the card front was textured with the scripty texture folder. Then with twine, I'm just going to make a bow and use a glue dot to adhere my bow. Then I'll use tear and tape on the back. With this technique is so nice to be able to position your card front perfectly on your card base. I always like to do my cards with a little bit of a white border around the edge. Here's the first card. You see the difference in the leaves. And I totally forgot I wanted to color some rhinestones, so that's why I needed to use my blend marker to color the rhinestones. And that finishes off the card. There you go. All right, this next card is super easy. We're using a designer series paper. We are going to use the Pear Pizzazz. Now, whenever I have a bigger stamp, I always put the stamp right side up and put my ink down onto the stamp. I find it easier when it's a bigger stamp to do it that way. Then we're using the Blackberry Bliss to add some flowers. This is a real simple card, but because of the designer series paper, I think it just it works. Even though it's simple stamping, the paper is just in the background so pretty. And just layering it up with the Blackberry Bliss layer in the back. I think it's a very nice card. Quick and easy. Simple stamping. Okay, this next card we're using the brick and mortar texture folder. We are going to use the marker on the stamp for our sentiment. Use the brush end of the marker. This is a simple thanks card. I'm going to layer my sentiment onto the Pear Pizzazz paper. Now this, I want to show you how you can intertwine these wreaths together. You just kind of put one inside the other, and it gives a really nice effect. Then adhere the card front to the card base, and then you can trim off the sentiment. This is the last card, and I think it's the best. Save the last for best, or best for last. Anyways, okay, we are going to die cut our foil and our flowers and our wreath, and we're going to texturize some of the paper. This is a different fold. You fold it in half and then in half again. I've already scored the paper for you. And then we're going to set that aside. Ready to assemble. Well, no, we're going to stamp our sentiment first in the center of the square piece. Stamp the Merry Christmas. Then adhere it to the foil sheet. And then we're going to layer the wreath on top of it. Now, again, I did it a little different here as I did with my first sample. My first sample, I actually did 2 pieces of Mossy Meadow leaves, and I used the foil sheet in the center of the two greens. So it does look a little different. You'll see when you can see when I'm done, you'll see the difference. That's what's so fun about these wreaths, is you can intertwine the colors together and get such neat effects. And I'm gonna layer my poinsettias, one on top of each other. So we'll do that twice. So you have to die cut 4 of the flowers. And then we're going to again color our pearls with the blends. I wanted them a brighter color, so I went with the Daffodil Delight. I was coloring them with the nub end of the marker, and I decided to use the brush end, and it did color them a little bit better. But you have to be careful when you use your brush end not to push too hard, because you can actually ruin the brush tip by pushing too hard. But it did give me a better color. So by using the blends, that they'll actually permanently color the pearls or the rhinestones. So I put 5 on each of these. Then I'm going to use dimensionals on the back of this designer series paper, and that is what helps to hold the card open when I want to keep it in an open position. Then I'm going to adhere to the card front that has texture on it, using my grid paper to get it centered, using the lines on the grid paper. Then go ahead and just put adhesive on the top portion of the card, because the bottom portion of this top part we don't want to be adhered down, so that it can fold open like a stand. There you go. And there's room on the inside to write your sentiments. See, there's a difference. I used an extra layer of the green on the first card that I made. Here's all the cards that we made, and thank you for joining me today. If you're watching online on YouTube, be sure and share and like. Again, thank you.